You think you're solid because you pull in $88,000 a year, right? Think again. Your paycheck is a spotlight, not a measure of the ground you're standing on. If you look at the balance sheet of your life, what you own minus what you owe, you might discover that your real wealth rank is perched on the very first rung of a 6-step ladder that most people never even see. Drop a money bag emoji in the comments if you've ever felt rich just because the numbers on your pay stub look good. Now let's cut through the illusion. The common story we're sold is that salary equals status, that a fancier car or a larger house automatically lifts you into the middle class. The truth is far less glamorous. Wealth is defined by net worth, the simple equation of assets minus liabilities. Imagine a balance sheet that sits on your kitchen table. On one side, you list everything you own: your house, your car, your retirement accounts, even that old guitar you never play. On the other side, you list every debt: student loans, credit card balances, that auto loan you're still chipping away at. Subtract the bottom from the top, and that number is the true indicator of where you stand. Take a professional earning $88,000 a year. Their assets might total $88,000, but if they carry $84,300 in debt, their net worth shrinks to a mere $3,700. That's not a middle-class cushion. It's a precarious foothold that could vanish with a single unexpected expense. A paycheck is like a speedometer. It tells you how fast you're moving, not how far you've traveled. The real distance is measured in net worth, and most of us are stuck at the starting line. Let's introduce the 6-level wealth ladder. The first rung is survival, where you're barely covering expenses and any extra cash disappears into debt. The second rung is stability, where you have a modest emergency fund but still live paycheck to paycheck. The third rung is growth, where you begin to invest and see your net worth climb. The fourth rung is freedom, where passive income starts covering your living costs. The fifth rung is abundance, where wealth becomes a tool for choice, not a constraint. The sixth and final rung is legacy, where you're building generational wealth that outlives you. Data from recent financial studies shows that roughly 70% of earners making more than $70,000 a year are still on the first or second rung, trapped by debt and lifestyle inflation. If this is blowing your mind, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm, and me, that you want more truth bombs about real wealth. Why do most people lag behind age-adjusted benchmarks? The answer lies in two silent killers: debt drag and lifestyle inflation. Debt drag is the weight of loans that pulls your net worth down faster than any market downturn can. The typical debt portfolio for a 30-something professional includes student loans averaging $20,000, credit card balances hovering around $5,000, and a car loan of about $10,000. When you add up the interest rates, often ranging from 7 to 15%, you're essentially paying a hidden tax on your future wealth every month. Lifestyle inflation is the sneaky upgrade that follows every raise. You land a promotion, your salary jumps, and suddenly you upgrade to a bigger apartment, a newer car, a premium streaming bundle, maybe even a vacation home. Those extra dollars look harmless because they're coming from a higher paycheck, but they erode the surplus you could be channeling into investments. Picture this. You earn $88,000, you're paying $1,500 in rent, and you feel comfortable. After a raise, you move to a $2,500 apartment, buy a newer car, and your monthly expenses swell to $3,500. Your surplus drops dramatically, and your net worth plateaus. Age-adjusted net worth benchmarks paint a stark picture. By the time you reach 40, the average net worth should be around $55,000. Our example professional, despite the $88,000 salary, sits at $3,700, a shortfall of 94%. That gap isn't a temporary hiccup. It's a structural deficit that compounds over time unless you intervene. But there's a ladder you can climb, rung by rung, if you adopt a disciplined strategy. First, create a cash flow gap. Subtract your total monthly expenses from your income and earmark the surplus for wealth-building activities. In our scenario, if the professional trims expenses to $2,500 a month, they free up $800 a month, or $9,600 a year, to invest. Second, attack debt aggressively. Prioritize high-interest balances using the avalanche method. Pay the highest rate first while maintaining minimum payments on the rest. Any bonus, tax refund, or unexpected windfall should go straight to reducing that principal. Third, harness the power of compound interest. Investing that $9,600 annually at a modest 7% return doesn't just grow, it snowballs. After 20 years, that disciplined contribution could balloon to $200,000, compared to a mere $60,000 if you simply save the same amount in a low-interest account. Finally, turn work into a choice. Financial independence is achieved when your passive cash flow exceeds your living expenses, freeing you to decide when and how you work. Now, let's pause and let the numbers settle. Grab a pen, write down every asset you own and every liability you owe. Subtract the bottom line, and you'll see your true wealth rank. This isn't a quiz, it's a mirror. What does your reflection show? Share your thoughts in the comments. I really want to see where you stand and how you plan to move up the ladder. If you're finding this valuable, hit that subscribe button and let's keep exploring together, because the next steps will show you exactly how to shift from merely looking wealthy to actually building lasting wealth. Now that you've taken the first step, recognizing that a paycheck alone does not define your financial reality, let's move deeper into the mechanics that will let you rewrite the story of your net worth. The ladder we talked about earlier is not a metaphorical climb. It is a concrete sequence of actions that, when executed with discipline, will shift you from the survival rung to the freedom rung and eventually beyond. In the next several minutes, I will walk you through the 4 pillars that support lasting wealth: cash flow optimization, debt eradication, strategic asset growth, and protective financial architecture. Each pillar is a building block, and together they form a foundation strong enough to withstand market turbulence, life's unexpected turns, and the seductive pull of lifestyle inflation. First pillar, mastering cash flow. The moment you subtract your total monthly outgoings from your gross income, you reveal the surplus you have available to allocate toward wealth creation. This is not a theoretical exercise, it is a daily reality check. Pull up a spreadsheet, a notebook, or a budgeting app and list every recurring expense: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, subscriptions, and the occasional discretionary spend. When you total those figures, you will see the exact amount that is disappearing each month. If that sum is close to your entire income, you are living on a razor-thin margin, and every extra dollar you earn is being swallowed by consumption. The solution is simple yet powerful. Intentionally reduce the expense side of the equation. One of the most effective ways to trim expenses is to audit your housing cost. In many markets, the rule of thumb is that you should not spend more than 30% of your pre-tax income on shelter. If you are currently allocating 50% or more, consider downsizing, refinancing, or negotiating a roommate arrangement. The savings you free up can be redirected to a high-yield investment vehicle. Next, examine transportation. If you own a vehicle that requires a large loan payment, high insurance premiums, and costly fuel, calculate the total cost of ownership. Often, swapping to a modest used car, a reliable public transport pass, or even a bicycle can shave off a few $100s each month. Those dollars, when invested consistently, compound into a sizable nest egg. Second pillar, debt eradication. Not all debt is created equal. High-interest consumer debt, especially credit card balances, acts like a financial leech, draining your cash flow and preventing you from building equity. The avalanche method, which prioritizes paying off the highest interest balances first while maintaining minimum payments on the rest, is the most efficient path to reducing the overall interest burden. Picture a mountain of debt. Each high-interest slab you eliminate reduces the slope, making the remaining climb less steep. When a bonus, tax refund, or unexpected windfall arrives, channel it directly toward the principal of the most costly loan. Avoid the temptation to splurge on a short-term pleasure. The long-term gain of a lower debt load far outweighs any fleeting satisfaction. For those carrying student loans, consider income-driven repayment plans that align payments with earnings, but remain vigilant about the total interest accrued over the life of the loan. In some cases, refinancing into a lower-rate loan can accelerate payoff. The key is to keep a clear, written plan. Set a target date for becoming debt-free. Calculate the monthly payment required to hit that milestone, and treat that payment as non-negotiable, just like a rent check. Third pillar, strategic asset growth. Once you have liberated cash flow and tamed debt, the next step is to put that capital to work in vehicles that generate returns above inflation. The most accessible gateway for most earners is a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. By investing a consistent amount each month, what many call dollar-cost averaging, you smooth out market volatility and capture the long-term upward trend of equity markets. Historically, a broad market index has delivered an average annual return in the high single digits to low double digits, which, when compounded over decades, creates exponential growth. Let's illustrate. Suppose you commit to investing $9,600 annually, which breaks down to $800 a month. If you achieve a 7% average return, after 20 years you would have amassed roughly $200,000. Contrast that with the same contribution sitting in a low-interest savings account yielding a fraction of a percent, you would end up with just around $60,000. The difference is not merely a few thousand. It is a matter of magnitude, and it is driven entirely by the power of compounding. The longer your money stays invested, the more each year's earnings become part of the principal that earns again. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill. The more distance it travels, the larger it becomes, and the faster it grows. While index funds are a solid foundation, you may also allocate a portion of your portfolio to dividend-paying stocks, real estate investment trusts, or even a small direct real estate purchase if your cash flow permits. The goal is to create multiple streams of passive income that eventually exceed your living expenses. When that threshold is crossed, you have achieved financial independence, and work becomes a choice rather than a necessity. Fourth pillar, protective financial architecture. Wealth can evaporate as quickly as it is built if you neglect the safeguards that preserve it. Insurance, estate planning, and tax efficiency are the invisible walls that keep your progress intact. Start with a solid health insurance plan that shields you from catastrophic medical bills. Next, secure life insurance if you have dependents. A term policy provides a safety net at a modest cost. Disability insurance is often overlooked, but equally vital. If an injury prevents you from working, this coverage replaces a portion of your income and prevents you from dipping into retirement savings. Tax efficiency is another lever you can pull to accelerate wealth accumulation. Contribute the maximum allowable amount to tax-advantaged retirement accounts, such as a 401k or an IRA, where contributions reduce your taxable income today and grow tax-deferred. If your employer offers a matching contribution, treat that match as free money and ensure you capture the full amount. For those with higher incomes, consider a Roth conversion strategy that locks in today's tax rate for future withdrawals, especially if you anticipate being in a higher bracket later in life. Estate planning may feel premature, but a simple will and a durable power of attorney establish clear directives for asset distribution and medical decisions, sparing your family from costly legal battles. As your net worth grows, you can explore trusts and other sophisticated structures that protect assets from probate, creditors, and excessive taxation. Now, let's bring these pillars together into a practical, step-by-step roadmap you can start implementing tonight. Step 1. Conduct a cash flow audit. Write down every source of income and every single expense for the past month. Subtract the total expenses from the total income. The resulting surplus is the amount you can allocate toward debt repayment and investing. If the surplus is negative, identify at least one expense you can cut, perhaps a streaming subscription, an unused gym membership, or a dining out habit, and rerun the numbers until you have a positive cash flow. Step 2. Prioritize debt. List each liability, the balance, and the interest rate. Rank them from highest to lowest rate. Allocate the majority of your surplus to the top-ranked debt while paying the minimum on the others. As each balance is eliminated, roll its payment amount into the next debt on the list, creating a debt snowball effect that accelerates payoff. Step 3. Set up automated investing. Open a brokerage account if you don't already have one, and schedule an automatic transfer of a fixed amount, ideally a portion of the surplus you just freed up, into a diversified index fund each payday. Automation removes the temptation to spend the money and ensures consistent market exposure. Step 4. Build an emergency fund. Before you commit all surplus to investing, reserve 3 to 6 months' worth of essential expenses in a liquid, high-yield savings vehicle. This buffer protects you from having to liquidate investments at an inopportune time should an unexpected expense arise. Step 5. Review and adjust quarterly. Life is dynamic. Income, expenses, and financial goals evolve. Every 3 months, revisit your cash flow statement, debt schedule, and investment contributions. Make adjustments as needed, perhaps increasing your investment contribution as debt shrinks, or reallocating assets as you approach major milestones like buying a home or funding a child's education. By following this systematic approach, you will gradually ascend the wealth ladder, moving from survival to stability, then to growth, and eventually to freedom. The journey is not about dramatic overnight transformations. It is about disciplined, incremental actions that compound over time. The real power lies in the consistency of your habits, not in the size of any single paycheck. Before we wrap up, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what you just heard. Think about where you currently sit on the ladder. Are you still on the first rung, barely scraping by? Or have you already built a modest cushion that puts you on the second rung? Write down your assessment in the comments below. I'm eager to see where you are and how you plan to climb higher. Sharing your starting point not only holds you accountable, but also creates a community of learners who can support each other's progress. If this roadmap resonates with you, give the video a thumbs up. It signals to the algorithm that you want more deep dive financial content. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss the next episode, where we'll explore advanced wealth building tactics such as leveraging real estate, optimizing tax-efficient income streams, and mastering the psychology of money. Remember, wealth is not a static snapshot. It's a dynamic journey that requires you to constantly align your actions with your long-term vision. The moment you shift from the illusion of looking rich to the reality of building real net worth, you reclaim control over your future. The ladder is there, the rungs are within reach, and the tools are now in your hands. It's up to you to take the next step. So what will your next move be? Reduce an expense, attack a high-interest balance, set up that automated investment, or perhaps all three? Let me know in the comments, and let's keep each other motivated. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay curious, and keep climbing.